It's mid-January, which means if you're on a diet, you're probably going through a bit of a boring food regime at the moment, but spare a thought for the people of Nottingham. I mean, they have to live exclusively off of cheese, bread, apples and chicken day in, day out. It must be so flipping dull. But what if you could change that? What if you could remind them how sweet alcohol can be, how pepper can reinvigorate all their food, the spices of a good old crossbow to the head? The authorities might call you dirty smugglers, but really, you'll be heroes if you can make your way past the Sheriff of Nottingham. You'll have to stand, mate. Shambles. Sheriff of Nottingham forces 3 to 5 players to bluff and bribe their way past Prince John's rather morally askew deputy, and they'll be smuggling in produce that consists of innocent things such as cheese and bread to slightly more weapony items that might just raise a bit of an eyebrow. Hey there, hey there, hey there, hey there, how you doing? Lovely day for a picnic, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Oh, skin store. Flipping heck. Before the game begins, each player picks a character, gets 50 gold, 6 random items of produce, and a lovely velvet merchant bag to put all their interesting secrets in. Oh, it's empty. Cards with goods on them can come with 2 different varieties. Ones with green borders are considered illegal, such as chicken, cheese, apples, and bread, and ones with red borders are considered to be contraband, such as silk, pepper, crossbows, and meth. Mead. Sorry, I thought that was a Breaking Bad reference on the barrel. The player with the most money actually on their person is the first to become the sheriff and watches the merchants do all kinds of wily dealings throughout the round. In the first phase of a round, merchants can choose to discard up to 5 goods cards from their hands, drawing back up to 6 from either one of the face-up discard piles before moving on to the face-down draw pile. In the second phase, the merchants can stuff their bags with up to 5 goods cards and seal it up. All simple so far, isn't it? The third phase is the declaration phase, and where the game really begins to kick in, because you have to tell the sheriff what's in your bag. Truth or lie, and there are a couple of laws that run alongside this. You can only declare one kind of good. It has to be legal, because why would you drop yourself in it at that point? And you can only declare the number of cards you put in your bag. So if I were to stuff my bag with 3 chickens and some silk, because if I'm going to commit animal cruelty, then I feel like I at least have to give them some form of luxury before they inevitably suffocate, then I have to shut it up, pass it over, and declare there's 4 chickens in there. Honestly. And now the power's in the sheriff's hands. Do they let the merchant through, trust them, hope they've only got a bunch of apples of dead chickens in their bag? Or do they think they're being rather deceitful, or can they simply not resist the lure of popping open this little popper thing right here? If the sheriff decides not to open your bag, they simply pass it back to you, and you get to put all legal goods in the relevant spots on the merchant stand, and any contraband that you might have smuggled through face down in the little contraband slot on top, and the sheriff groans, and it's really satisfying to hear that. The alternative is, of course, opening the bag, but if you perform a suave enough dance with your fingers around the popper bit of your opponent's bag, or you simply want to see how much you can extract out of them, you can threaten them, say you're going to open the bag, but also ask, is there anything you're willing to give me in return for not opening it at all? Any amount of gold you have, any produce you have in your stall, any future favours, pretty much anything within the confines of the game. Of course, you can always just open the popper halfway through negotiations like the moustache twirling douche that you are. If they open your bag though, things can go one of 2 ways. If you lied, then they confiscate any items you didn't declare, and you have to pay a fine for those items, but you still get to put the ones you did declare onto your merchant stand, so that's something, yay. But if you were telling the truth, then the sheriff has to pay you a fine because they ended up wasting your time, and you get all your goods back. Once everyone's been interrogated, then all players draw back up to 6 cards, and the player on the left becomes the new sheriff. Once everyone's been the sheriff twice or 3 times in a 3-player game, then the game ends. Players add up the value of all the goods they have on their stand, plus any gold they have remaining, and the one with the most valuable merchant stand wins the game. Sheriff of Nottingham doesn't tie its players together in a web of lies. It doesn't put you in the spotlight as a jury of friends, try and analyse every single facet of your face to see if they can sniff out a lie. Instead, it's a remarkably simple drama of petty lies and jovial deceit. And that's exactly why I love it. It may only last a minute or so, but that moment where the sheriff has to decide what to do with the bag, whether to open it up or not, where the merchant has to look him square in the eye, hand it over and state what is definitely in there, no question about it, officer, everything's in order. It's a delicious piece of theatre to watch unfold, a rapid and infinitely more enjoyable Deal or No Deal. It's satisfying to watch the sheriff take a punt, open up the bag and make that popping sound, which is deafening when you're in the middle of a game, but it's equally satisfying to watch someone simply Delboy their way past customs. It lends so much into what I enjoy about the game, and whether I'm in the hot seat or not, it's arguably my biggest highlight. What I love about Sheriff of Nottingham is how easily accessible it is. The rules are remarkably simple, but even so, you might just be the sort of player who's not very good at bluffing, not very good at lying, and that's okay. You're just too wonderful and pure for this world. Here's the thing though. You can win a game of Sheriff of Nottingham by being completely honest throughout, because even though the value of legal goods is lower than contraband, there are big bonuses available to the players who manage to accumulate more of any kind of legal good than any other player by the end of the game. So you can hoard these huge bonuses whilst slowly chipping away at the finances of any sheriff that dares question your integrity. It's refreshing to play a game where you're rewarded for your honesty, for playing things above board. And it means I've finally got a game about bluffing and deception I can play with my friends, because no offense to them, but they're all just really nice. Now, don't get me wrong, I like Dark Moon, I like The Resistance, I like games like these, but unfortunately they don't get to the table a lot in our household because most of my friends don't seem to like the pressures of lying to other people. Hell, they don't like the pressures of telling the truth to other people in games like these, because even if you are honest and innocent and have nothing to hide, you can get grilled so mercilessly that all your emotions just frizzle and burn out. And if you are a traitor, then some people just don't like lying to other people. They don't like keeping up this facade for huge amounts of time. They don't like the social pressure, and it's just not enjoyable for them. Here, however, in Sheriff of Nottingham, when you are interrogated, it lasts around about a minute, 2 minutes tops. It goes so rapidly. And if you do feel like things aren't going your way, you can just kind of edge out a bribe and hope for the best. It won't ruin the rest of your game. You're not being court-martialed here. It's like you're being told off your mum for eating cookies just before your dinner. It's not that bad. And of course, when a round does end, it means the sheriff's that much closer to getting to you. You'll have the power to start perusing everyone else's bags. I mean, it's still not particularly pleasant. You still got to balance out those choices, but nevertheless, everyone has a chance to be the accuser. It means everyone has a fighting chance of winning the game, and probably more importantly, everyone has a fighting chance of actually enjoying it. Just because Sheriff of Nottingham is nicer than other bluffers, it doesn't mean to say you can't be a really shoddy human being throughout. If the sheriff does decide to threaten you, you can offer them gold or any goods that are on your merchant stand, but you can also offer them future favours, favours which aren't bound by any contract whatsoever. So if you can't or simply won't fulfill that in the future, there's nothing saying that you absolutely have to. What's worse is you can offer them goods that are already in your bag. So say they catch you out, you say, okay, there's some cheese in there, you can have it if you like. You look like the sort of guy who likes a bit of cheese, if you just let me through. And then they let you through and you decide to open your bag, and it actually turns out you've got 2 chickens and a nice bit of contraband to put face down. Because those goods don't exist, you can't give it to them, and you're absolutely fine. You can do that if you want. Legally, little bit off, but in the context of the game, absolutely fine. Not enough to create truly bad blood, but it is enough to make players go, you're a d***. The only issues I have with Sheriff of Nottingham are incredibly nitpicky. There's a hell of a lot of addition needed at the end of the game to total up all the points you've gathered, and the game comes with a very hefty deck of cards that are incredibly hard to shuffle. But these problems that occur at the beginning, at the end, do nothing to tamper the game you experience in the middle. If you're looking for a bluffing game that moves away from hidden roles, I recommend it. And if you're looking for a bluffing game for people that usually stay the hell away from bluffing games, I definitely recommend it, because I guarantee you that after one play, you won't be needing to shamelessly smuggle this to the table anymore. I forgot they were that.